just really proud of our guys. A great game against Nebraska is really, really good. And we knew that. We knew we were going to have our hands full. But for our response from, not playing well at all at Michigan State and coming back together and staying resilient, staying the course, looking in the mirror at what we need to get better at and then coming out and putting into action, and could not, like I said, just could not be more proud of our bounce back and the togetherness that this team showed. And, a special night with it being senior night and to get a win for those guys that this is their last time at State Farm Center. Just really happy for our players and could not be more proud of them.
Raise your hand and we'll get you a mic for questions from the student athletes.
Just for either one of the players, what's been maybe your ability to bounce back after a tough performance, and how important is that going to be for you guys, going into the Big Ten tournament?
I think it's been really important for us, just because I think we're a team that learns really well, and unfortunately, learning comes from, failures and stuff like that. So I really think we're a team that, learns well and adapts well, and we adjust when we need to. So I think that has really helped us, and just kind of knowing we have that is really nice, and knowing, the guards can do it, the posts can do it. So I think that's been really, really big.
Free throw shooting was really crucial for you guys today. What sort of did it for you at the line, Makaira especially?
You mean just what was I thinking? And
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
well, I feel like I've been very confident from the free throw line, so I wanted to step up there and knock them down. I knew it was a crucial point in the game. Obviously, I split the free throws, but I made one, so that
Put us up one.
helped. That did what it had to do.
It's better than none.
Yeah.
For KB, you held them without a bucket for the last 5 minutes. Just what defensively do you feel like changed for you guys right at that moment?
We were just adamant they weren't going to win. I mean, it was our senior day, and we were locked in. We knew what we needed to do. We knew what they were going to do too. We just knew they were going to try and go inside, and so we were able to kind of help in on that, but also take care of the shooters. But I mean, it was just the mindset. We were all looking at each other we're not losing today, and I think we just carried that out really well.
Just what's going to be the key to going on a run here in the Big Ten tournament? What are you kind of looking at that you're going to have to do in this next week?
I'd say we just have to stay focused and stay locked in on our plan and what our mission is. And as long as we work and stay disciplined, then we can make a really big run.
For both of you guys, after all the trials and tribulations from this year, what's one of your guys' favorite memories from the season?
Ooh. I mean, I liked today. I don't know about y'all. I think, a home win, holding, like you guys said, holding them scoreless for the last 5 minutes, that's pretty hard to do. I mean, they're a very good team. They have inside presence. They have guards that can shoot and attack. So just kind of having all of that emotion and excitement today was definitely pretty cool.
Yeah, the Indiana game was pretty cool, but today was my favorite just because the student section was amazing, the crowd was amazing, and then just obviously we're both seniors, fourth-year seniors, so just the love and everything today was very felt and appreciated.
KB, what does it just kind of mean to see the energy build in this arena? You've obviously been here, before what you've been able to do the last couple of seasons as a team. What's this kind of journey been like for you, seeing this?
It's fun. It's fun to play here. And, initially when I started here, it was a little hard because we didn't have a whole lot of people that wanted to come to our games. And so just kind of being part of the team that's built that and had made people want to come to games is really special for me. And just kind of seeing the excitement, people genuinely want to be here. Growing the student section has been probably my favorite thing. And then getting to know the band, they're awesome. They're just chirping the whole time. So it's awesome to listen to them. But just to have more kids at the games, more students, the class I student teach for, they were here today, and the teachers. So it's cool to have people truly invested in us.
I guess, what was the emotions when you felt the buzzer? You heard the buzzer sound, and while running and celebrating with all those fans.
Oh my God. Well, I didn't see because I boxed out and I fell. So I was like just kind of waiting for everybody to kind of see what happened. But then I saw the crowd go nuts and I was like, okay, I guess I can go nuts now.
Yeah, I looked at Coach Green because obviously what happened with Michigan State, it was very hard and trying for us. But the work that we had to put in order to make it just to today, it was just like, it was just a relief because, yeah.
For either one of you, this team I feel like has been really good about having honest and frank conversations even without the coaches involved. And I was just curious what was kind of being talked about after what happened in East Lansing, because you guys have rebounded pretty well after having those types of performances.
We just got to get our stuff together. I mean, I'll keep it PG here, but I mean, we got to get our stuff together and we can't have starts. I mean, we talk about starts all the time and like we're a team that if we have a bad start, then we are behind the rest of the game trying to dig ourselves out and then keeping our third quarters what they are. I mean, they went on a run in the third quarter, but this time we punched back. And so that's the important part, is making sure we respond the right way to those.
Makaira, you scored your 1,500th point today. Did you realize you
No.
were that close? I guess, what does
I
that
didn't
achievement
know.
mean to you then?
That's pretty exciting. Yeah, I had no clue until somebody told me. So
I guess just, going into Minneapolis feeling like, you're going to have to win 4 games in 4 days to get to the NCAA tournament. Does that help maybe having that, knowing that that's what you have to do, or what's kind of the mindset as you go into the Big Ten tournament?
I mean, anything can happen. I mean, the league this season, I think, has been the most up and down I've seen it in a very, very long time. I mean, obviously you have your top teams, but just the middle and, bottom part of this conference are competitive. I mean, it's not, you can't go into any game and just roll over somebody. I mean, yeah, there have been blowouts, but it's like that team's played bad. And so just kind of having, every team brings something different. Every team is different, but just having the mindset like we got to attack anybody that we play.
KB, you talk about the band a little bit there, but I mean, you throw your shirt to them pre-game. I know they chant your name. They had shirts for you today. Yes, how would you describe your relationship with them, and how did it even kind of come about?
Oh, I love it. And I think it's grown. I when I throw my shirt, I'm trying to make it in the tuba. That's kind of my goal. That's the goal with that. But I specifically remember, like, we played Butler. I think it was my first year here, and they had a Kendall on their team. And then I remember, like, she was shooting free throws, and the band was chanting, "Our Kendall is better." And like ever since then, like I've just loved them. Like, and they show up like to every game. They bring excitement to every game, no matter what's going on. And I think that's important because, like finally getting the student section here, like the band was here when nobody was. And so that's why I like to give them a lot of shout outs because, they've shown up when nobody else did.
I guess just what's been kind of maybe the difference in, you've been in a lot of close games this season, but what would you feel like was the difference tonight in being able to get over the hump and be able to pull out a win here?
I'd say the difference in today, rather than when we had previous losses, was just our grit and our heart and our intensity, and like a consistent flow and like common, this is what we have to do. So we all pretty much brought everything we had together and used that. And obviously when all of us do what we have to do, it's a powerful force.
Makaira, so towards the end there, you took a little bit of a fall. Call didn't go your way, but you got right back up and sank a 3. What did that feel like when the crowd kind of erupted there?
Well, I was really mad because I was pretty hurt, but the 3 made me feel better.
I was pretty hurt. It made me feel better.
Kendall, I think midway through the second quarter, you knocked down one of many long 2-point jumpers, and you and Shauna shared like a smiling moment. Was there a conversation that led to that, or
no, I just didn't know the play. So I was lucky. I was lucky it went in.
Everybody good for the student athletes? All right, thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Shauna, you called that timeout with 5 minutes to go, and I noticed you turned around, looked at your bench, said, "We can't guard them." So I'm curious what happened in the last 5 minutes.
I don't remember saying that, but I called that because I just needed us to kind of refocus. And in that, I talked to him. I did like, I thought we were just kind of like not walking around, but it just, we didn't have that intensity. And I think that was the moment where we got beat on the keep play, and then something like we were getting blown by, and it was like, and that's where, and I don't normally call those, but I'm like, this has to stop right now. So that's what we talked about. I said, there has to be intensity. This game is going to be won with defense and rebounding, and we can't have that anymore. So, it was pretty, actually, I was pretty calm about it, but just like, we have to pick it up. We got one battle left. We have 5 minutes left, and there has to be better defensive intensity, and give our players credit because they responded to that, and they did that.
KB kind of referenced the ability to learn maybe from mistakes or, struggles or whatever that your team's going through. What's maybe been the characteristic of this team to be able to use a loss and learn from it, do you feel like, this season?
I just think, they're resilient. We've had some ups and downs. We've had some, tough ones. But every time we come back and after every one, there's a different message or different approach. And that's after the other night. Obviously that was one of the more disappointing performances I've had since I've been here, at least in that first half. Again, I give our players credit. They really understand. They know what they didn't do, and they came out today and they put that into action. And when we do that, we can beat I really believe we can beat whoever we play. Whether you saw the Indiana, you now see this, and when we don't get off to good starts, today we won our first battle. We were I think it was 12-6. At the end of the first battle, the first 5 minutes. So it's really important with this team. So we're just a resilient group. But I don't want to keep learning like this. And I want us to carry over some of the stuff even going into next year. There's a lot of good learning. We got obviously time left this season, but there's a lot of good things that we will take into next year as well.
As minutes turns to seconds, it looked like, maybe the team that has the ball last will win the game, and that obviously didn't happen. What was the sort of defensive instruction you gave to your team to, hold them scoreless, not just for 5 minutes, but for that last 25 seconds?
I didn't realize we held them scoreless for 5 minutes, so that's really, really impressive. And that's something, as you guys know, with us in defense, that makes me the most happy and most proud that, able to lock up a team of this magnitude for 5 minutes, holding them scoreless is that's elite. But that last match, it took forever because of all the reviews, and I just told our team when we were in there, I'm like, we're thinking defense. Like, don't rely. I didn't think it would get overturned, so I'm like, we got to think defense. We work so much on baseline out of bounds. We've, and I just said you have to have your best baseline out of bounds defense of the year, and you have to be really, really physical. That's our main thing with baseline out of bounds is physicality, and they got to go through your chest on everything. And we were locked in. We got them to miss a shot, and then got a really big rebound. So, but yeah, that was with that 1 point lead. With Makaira splitting them. Because you'd feel a little bit better going into that, because if they even score, then at least it's tied. But just really proud, again, of the toughness that they showed to be able to execute defensively, because they had a couple opportunities there.
Can you describe Makaira's just winning time mentality? It just seemed like in those last few possessions, the ball was always going to go through her, and she had the ability to at least rise up and make that shot attempt, and everybody else on the floor kind of knew it was going to her.
And I think we saw that a lot of her last year, and you've seen it in the last month, is just that confidence that she has. And I've said it since I've coached her. She has the ability to get a shot off on anyone in the country. And even when, they were going make-miss. So that's where the one time I didn't want to call timeout because I didn't want them to go zone. And we got that, and we called something to get her downhill and get to the rim. And she's just been really, really aggressive getting downhill and turning the corner and getting in. We've talked about a lot, getting and using her body so she can get to the free throw line. But yeah, she just made some plays that, again, you can't teach some of that stuff. She just makes plays. And I think in those moments, she loves those big moments, and especially at home, she fuels off that. And you know, that three that you were talking about, I mean, those are some, and some of those I'm like, oh no, like it's not a great shot, but then she makes them. So she's a gamer, she's a winner. And when she's playing confidently, she's one of the best guards in the country.
Thinking about Makara again, obviously you've been with her every step of the way in college, but seeing her reach that 1,500 point mark, obviously it comes on an and one layup in the third quarter. Just what does that mean for you as a coach to see one of your players achieve that?
You know, I'm obviously just her growth. When you've been with someone throughout their whole journey, and you know, if you have seen her as a freshman, and you know how far she's come in 4 years as not just a player, but more importantly as a person. You know, I'm just really, really happy for her and really proud of her. You know, for her to accomplish the things that, you know, she's accomplished, and again, her loyalty and her relationship, you know, that we have is just, it's just special. You know, you don't see a lot of kids anymore these days that are that loyal. So I could not be more happy for her, and hopefully there's many more points to come.
KB referenced it kind of just being wide open, the Big Ten, and you've talked about just feeling like you can beat anybody in this league. I mean, does that sort of have to be your mindset as you go into the Big Ten tournament and trying to win 4 games in 4 days? Yeah,
it's like everything. We take one day at a time, and in the tournament, you just try to, you know, find a way to win and go 1-0 that day. So a lot of it's matchups, as you guys know. So it'll be, you know, do we get the right matchups, and then can we bring that same defensive intensity you know, that we've brought in some of the games that we've, you know, your Indiana's, your Penn State, your, you know, Nebraska game today, some of these where we played just really, really great defense and held some of the top scoring teams in the league down. So biggest key, though, is going 1-0, just trying to take one day at a time, and then matchups are going to be key of who we draw.
Coach, Shay's had a solid run these past few games, putting up 9 points today. What'd you like seeing from her recently?
The thing about Shay, she's just been working her butt off every single day in practice, and she's kept such a positive mindset of just the process. And you know, she hasn't gotten upset with something. You know, everyone wants to play, right? But all she's done is just kept working. She just kept working. She's always in there, always getting extra stuff. And just her positive vibes has been really, really great. And she's put together, you know, a good month or so of just really solid practices. So that gives me a lot of confidence in her. And then she's also, you stay ready, so you don't have to get ready. So she's been really, really important to us in some of these games. And a lot of it's matchup driven. She couldn't play as much, you know, in Michigan State because they just played essentially 5 guards. But she was really big today. She made some big time shots. Her defense has gotten so much better. I'm just really excited to see the future. I think she's going to be a really, really great player here for us.
There was a sequence during that comeback where, you know, Gretchen gets a putback layup after a miss. Just what, you know, that mindset that she has, what did that kind of make a difference in this game, do you feel like?
That play right there was a huge, huge play. I don't know what we were down at that point, maybe 5 or 6. That was a big time play. And she went up against Markowski in that. So I love it. And that's what she has in her. You know, she's a baller. She's tough. And that was just a basketball play. She went up there and got it, and then it just was super, super strong. I think that was one of the biggest plays of the game to kind of change the whole momentum in that final, you know, 5 or so minutes.
I guess just defensively, what do you maybe see in a game like this versus maybe some of those other performances where Michigan State that, you know, is kind of not there in those games?
I also think a lot of it's matchups. I mean, Michigan State's, you know, because of their injuries, they've had to change up, and they're playing, you know, who played a 2-3 last year. They're playing her. She's 6'2", but she's a guard playing the 5 spot. And for us, it's a really hard matchup because we play big, and you know, it's hard. And they spread you. They can shoot at an elite level. So, and then, you know, even in Indiana, it's a good matchup, more of a solid, they play 2 bigs. Same thing here. You know, they play 2 bigs, and they have a Markowski who, you know, we have Hobby and KB that can bang with her. So basketball is such a game of matchups, and those are the teams that, again, we match up better with.
To dovetail off her question about Shay, are you seeing a confidence level difference in her? It seems like she, earlier in the year, just almost was a perfectionist with herself and not as confident. And I even think you said it earlier in the year. I wish she would just go play.
Yeah. And it's funny, I've told her that, and I think she would even say that. I think she's at more of just a relaxed state of just playing. And, you know, I tell her that all the time, just like, yeah, don't overthink it. Don't overanalyze everything. Like, you're a basketball player. You're a really good basketball player. Just go out there and play. And I tell her all the time, if you're open, shoot it. And you see, she lets it fly. She's confident. But I think that right now she's just in a really good mindset, in a relaxed state of just putting the work in and not overthinking too much. And it's paying off. She's playing really, really well right now.
I want to ask the same thing I asked Kendall and Makira. What's one of your favorite memories from this season?
I think the Indiana game. I mean, that's someone that I just have a ton of respect for, and obviously they're one of the top teams in the country, and to be able to beat them on our home floor. But today was special too for other reasons, but that Indiana one was big. Thank you. Appreciate you guys.